Hello guys, today we are continuing The Good Dinosaur, and I added a picture of the Good Dinosaur movie, so yeah. I just literally finished the book, so I already know what happened and stuff, but if you haven't read it still or seen the movie, I'll read this to you. Okay. Here's chapter 2. By the time they were 5 years old, Buck, Libby, and Arlo were expected to help around the farm. Libby and Buck always did their chores, and they even knew how to have fun while doing them. Libby loved tricking Buck into doing her work for her. One time, when she didn't practically feel like watering the crops, she hid in high stalks of corn with a mouthful of water. When Buck was within range, she aimed and took her shot, spraying him right in the face. Libby quickly retreated into the fields, laughing hysterically at her shocked brother. Determined to get revenge, Buck ran to the true, I don't know how to pronounce the word it was, and filled up his mouth with water. Libby peeked up from behind the corn and stuck her tongue out at him, then darted outside again. In his attempt to hit her, Buck sprayed the entire field. Libby saw that each stalk had been watered, so she raced out. When Buck finally caught up to her, he hardly had any water left. He wound up only spraying her with a light drizzle. With a big smile on her face, Libby called, "Mama, I finished my watering." She turned to her brother. "Thanks, Buck," she teased. Libby grinned as she watched Buck grudgingly begin his work. But things were different for Arlo. He struggled to find his place. Being smaller than his siblings didn't help matters. But Arlo's biggest problem was his fear. He was afraid almost all the time of almost everything, and it held him back, making it difficult for him to accomplish even the simplest of chores. One morning, Mama helped Arlo get ready to do one of those dreaded daily chores, feeding the cluckers. He hated those birds. They made terrible noises, and he was sure they could pierce right through his foot with their sharp, hooked beaks. The way they looked at him with their cold, black eyes, it was like they were thinking up different ways to peck him to pieces. Just the thought of them sent a ripple of shivers down his spine. "Can't I do something else, Mama?" Arlo pleaded. Mama smiled and hung as she hung a basket of corn kernels around his neck and gently nudged him with her big tail. "Get going," she chuckled. Reluctantly, Arlo headed off alone. He slowed as he approached the fence and let me restart that. He slowed as he approached the fence and coop as much as he hated all those noises those feather fiends made. What was even eerier was the present silence. Carefully and quietly he peeked inside, wondering where they were. A sudden rustling in the grass startled him, and he jumped, scattering some feet to the ground. "Who is that?" Arlo asked, looking toward the sound. He craned his neck through the grass and saw a tease of furry little baby tangled up in some weeds. Relieved, Arlo bent down help her. He peeled the leaves one by one. As he freed this pair of big, old, ugly clawed feet scrunched into the ground beside him. Squawk! It was Henrietta. I don't know how to pronounce this. Oh my god! Oh my god. Sorry, can't pronounce it. Pair of big, old, ugly, clawed feet. Oh. Scary Mom. It was Henrietta. It tweezes Scary Mom. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name. Arlo screamed as Henrietta chased him away. She screeched and squawked, horrifying Arlo with each awful noise. Ah! Ah! Arlo screamed as he ran for cover. In his panic, Arlo ran to his silo where Papa, Mama, and Libby were working. He curled himself up in Papa's tail and closed his eyes. It was his favorite hiding spot. Papa unwound his tail and looked at Arlo. Is there a problem? He asked calmly. Oh, that? Arlo said, trying his best to hide his fear. That was nothing. You know, Henrietta. Papa chuckled. You're okay. Arlo watched as Papa went back to work. He filled the silo with corn and closed up the opening with a boulder. Then he turned and faced his family. That should do it. This will keep them rotting critters from stealing our food, he said proudly. Mama gazed lovingly at her husband. Put your mark on there, Henry, she said. You earned it. The kids cheered. They waited eagerly to see what he would do next time. Papa pushed his foot to a thick puddle of mud, making a footprint, and stamped his foot onto a rock. He lifted the printed rock and slid into place. At the top of the silo. There, he said, smiling. He turned to his wife and said, You make your mark, Ida. What for? She asked. No, nothing, really, Henry said sarcastically. There was a big smile on his face and in his voice as he continued. You made the cabin, the fence, 3 kids. Mama smiled. I'm pretty impressive, she said lightly. Then Mama made a mark too on the big boulder next to Papa's. All 3 kids excitedly charged toward the silo, shouting, Me too! I'm doing it! Mine's gonna be the highest! Alan moved toward the mud puddle first. He wanted to put his print up on the silo right away. Libby and Buck weren't far behind. All 3 of them wanted to participate in this special moment. But Papa stopped them. Now hold on. It's not that easy, Papa explained. You gotta earn your mark by doing something big, or something bigger than yourself. All 3 kids gazed lovingly toward Papa. It was clear they were really listening. Someday you'll all make your mark, and I can't wait to see it, Papa concluded. I was inspired by Papa's words. He looked up at Papa's and Mama's footprints, imagining his up there, right next to theirs. He was determined to make his mark. So that was all of chapter 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 2. It was when they became 5 years old, not when they were just born. So yeah, I hope before you watch this video, you watch the first one, because then it wouldn't really make any sense if you haven't watched the movie or read this book. So, yeah, because I already read chapter 1, now chapter 2. So, tomorrow, be expecting another video on the Good Dinosaur book. And, yeah, I hope you really enjoyed it. Bye, guys!